something I have trouble with, Ruslan. You mentioned before, this whole philosophy, if you can call it that, is based on the notion that you have free will and choice, right?
Definitely.
But I can't see where anything original comes from. You see, I see a human basically as a product of his or her environment. I don't see where anything original comes into play.
You see, here's the thing. You were trained to think that. You were trained to think that you're weak, that you're small, there is nothing you can do, that you need to prove that you're worthy, that there is, if you want to achieve something real, there is a lot of hard work needs to be done. Nothing that is simple and easy is possible that would actually give you something real. All the stuff installed into your head, and you think this is you. You see where I'm coming from? And there is no you in this equation simply because you think that all these issues, all these limitations, all these fears is you. But it's not. It's just some garbage around you that you got on your head pretty much.
That we've been told, right?
Exactly.
What are you saying?
Since you were a little kid, you see, even parents, they don't know what they're doing. If they program to think like that, they will teach their kids to be same slaves and same victims.
Right.
That they need permission, that they don't have power, they need to be like everyone else. It's not like and a child, because of the unconditional love the child have for parents, he will accept everything as a truth.
Right.
And it will be sitting in. For example, I had tons of issues after my life, before I started to actually wake up and realize all the things. And specifically from my childhood, I had to remove tons of issues. Probably I had more issues than you have. Maybe all of you together.
Wow.
But you see, it was important. That was my path. Because if I didn't have it, then my life would be kind of bearable. And I would just stay with it, like most of you did. But
you'll be content.
My kind of path was, I need to figure this out and remove this.
Ruslan, would you describe this as enlightenment?
The process after Magic Pill is exactly what it is, enlightenment. That you will enlighten more and more and more, get more and more and more. You see, when you go into this path of enlightenment, that's pretty much the side effects of you're going to get a lot of joy, a lot of pleasure, a lot of happiness, a lot of laughter, all this stuff. Because that's the fundamental universal beingness of feel love, joy, and happiness all the time. And that's the path that you will take after Magic Pill. Just naturally. It's not that you have to sit and meditate for 5 hours and do all this stuff. It's got nothing to do with religion and all these things. I don't even care about religion and this Tao and, there's so much stuff and Buddha stuff and Jesus stuff and all this stuff. There is always a little bit of truth. But there is so much garbage and it's so manipulated because there is a reason why it is presented to you this way, that there's no point to even read it because you will not find the truth there. It's so lost that you might even have a certain illusion of understanding, but it's still illusion of understanding, not understanding. In other words, you cannot apply it. When you have a clear, clean truth and wisdom, it will instantly make a difference to you and change your reality instantly. What I'm saying to you, it all makes sense. Even though for people who don't, hear something about Magic Pill, for them it's just so ridiculous that there's no point to even continue conversation. But when you understand certain principles, it's all start to click, and it's all start to make sense, and you understand that this is the truth. Not because I said it, but because you know it.
So that's how when you've made the list, is that how you know that? Because you were saying that there's your money back guarantee. You know when you've done your job, when the person says to you that yes, you've done everything I've asked on that list. But if someone asks, something like what we just talked about earlier, I want to live my full potential. How do they know that after 1 hour of I'm just using the number 1 hour after a session with you, when you ask them, have I done what you've asked me to do?
Well, the question is, do you think I have delivered everything from your list? Do you feel that something is missing from the list that I missed or not delivered? That's the first question. The second question is, do you have any questions? Because after I deliver, I will give you certain instructions how to keep it active and all this stuff. But it's not really that you will have to push yourself. It's more like an understanding of how to not fall into the certain traps.
I see.
But you see, when you operate with the fundamental, clean truth, it all makes sense to such a deep level, on such a deep level that there is nothing more. You don't have to sit in 4 hours to explain something.
Right.
You have to do it when a person does not understand fully what he is talking about, or there is a lot of BS, and you need to cover it with some kind of arguments that are really hard to understand.
Right.
The reason I believe you... Yeah. The reason I believe you, Ruslan,
maybe
because
you can ask.
I've seen this in the books. I read a lot of books about enlightenment because at some point I realized that what I'm searching in life is not actually, I don't know, a girlfriend or money or something. Everything converges to this search for your identity, to the search of who you are. And so I delved into a lot of this enlightenment books and such, and I can see that what you're saying correlates exactly with what the guys in the books are saying.
You see, I don't really have to worry about other books. There are no books I read. People ask me what kind of book I read, can I read and stuff. I don't really have anything to advise them on this because I have tons of books, but I don't read. Last book I read was a few years ago, and it correlates with those books if they actually put the truth in it. I only base everything I do and everything I say on the clean truth that I actually took a long time for me to figure out or understand or to learn or whatever. But I come from the clean fundamental truth. And I don't even worry about the rest of the religions or books or enlightenment or whatever. I create my own kind of terminology, my own ways to explain this so it makes sense and it's easy for people to understand. But I always come from the truth. And that's what actually matters. And if you have a really good books, that those guys who wrote them comes from the same place and they know what they're talking about, it will definitely kind of click in you also, that you will be able to, I heard this something like this, before or whatever.